Guys, welcome to another episode of Always Making. Thank you for joining us here in our basement, in our studio. Last episode, we called it a lair. What do we? So we're just going to have all kinds of fun names for this thing. But again, guys, we are a local podcast to Salt Lake, and we love talking to creative artists out there. I'm Derek.
I'm Christy.
And we have an awesome, great guest in studio with us. We have Paula from Twisted Tiramisu. You make some amazing desserts. We're going to get into all of that and the passion and everything that drives that for you.
Yeah.
But before we do a little housekeeping first. We've got Craft Lake City's
Second annual
Maker's
Mart at Mill Creek Common.
Mill Creek Common. This is the second time we'll be actually attending this one, guys. So it starts on April 16th and it runs till May 27th, I think is the correct dates on that.
You usually have the dates and I have the names.
I know. But I think it's May 27th. So we will be releasing this episode right before that starts. So if you guys want to go check out some of the stuff and help us out and support, we will be there for quite some time. I think it's 6 weeks total. You check that out, or if you want to go to a cool cryptid themed show, we will be at
Mountain West Hard Cider.
Thank you for that one. And on April 26th, that is put on by Alluring Podcasting.
Yep.
Alluring
Podcast.
Wow.
We
Sorry,
had Kimmy,
Kimmy.
if you missed that. Yeah. So we had Kimmy on the show if you missed that episode.
Yeah, so you can go back and check out that one. But that again is going to be everything. Oh, we got some new things coming out to the shop, and I've worked on it. I've got something printed that's just right off camera. You guys can't see it, but that's going to be really fun. We've got some cool ideas. But those will be available online soon, and we'll be printing some new shirt designs too that I've been working on. And so those will be out soon. You'll see them on our social media at Steadfast Rebels. And okay, that's it. Housekeeping done. Let's get into this fun conversation about tiramisu.
Awesome.
This is going to be so awesome because, okay, I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want you to introduce yourself and how you got started with all of this.
Yeah, my name is Paula Williams. I started making tiramisu I guess semi-professionally during COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was working at Trader Joe's. I was in management, and it was a really horrible year to be in management with
I could only imagine.
with customer facing sort of a job, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was making treats because, I didn't want a whole pan of tiramisu sitting at home. So I would make it into like little portions, and I would put it in the break room fridge and let people know, like, have some, it's
Just
like a treat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Literally a pick me up. And someone in the art department was like, hey, that's really good. You should sell it. And I was like, what? No one's going to buy that. Like you could, anybody could make it. Like, why would anyone pay money when you could do it yourself? And so
you'd be surprised how many people will pay.
I know for a fact how many people will buy that. Yeah. And so I sort of that year, was 2020, 2021. I was turning 40. And the company was like, didn't really do right by us in my eyes during that COVID year. And so I kind of realized, working for a corporation, as warm and fuzzy as the crew was, and like feeling like a family, ultimately a corporation most of the time is never going to have your best interests in mind.
You're a number.
Yeah,
exactly. I
so
can
it's about the bottom line.
100% agree with you there. It feels like a family, and the people that are there you love and want to hang out with, but the corporate part of things really does ruin that for you.
100%. And so we got someone pretty horrible as our new manager during that transition, and so it made all of that just a lot easier to sort of leave behind. But I was turning 40, and I was like, okay, ultimately I'm looking out for myself. What do I want to do next, long term, whatever. My fiance and his brother had started tinkering with like smoking bacon. And so they had this, I know, it was the best bacon too. And they had this little hobby, and I kind of got FOMO, and I was like, I want to do something. And so I kind of am like hippy dippy, and I was like, I'm gonna take a little nap. Universe, speak to me. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, I woke up like out of nowhere, and I was like, I'm going to do this tiramisu thing. And I went online and was like, Utah business registration, like this needs to happen right now. Like I had the name, and I just like went for it, and I started, Instagram. And I kind of, you kind of wonder when you start out doing something like, are people blowing smoke up my ass? Like, is this really good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had known some food writers, Stuart Melling, who does, I'm going to blank out. Can you edit this?
Yeah.
Yes. He does. My friend Stuart has a food page. And so I reached out to him, another friend, Heather, that was writing food stuff for the Tribune. I had a handful of resources, and I made some, and I said, please, can you just try this and let me know if you would buy it? And so I sent it. I think I gave it to like 5 or 6 people, and I was like, be honest, because I'm like potentially leaving my job, like,
Yeah.
And so they all tried it. They're like, oh my God, yeah, like, this is great, you should do this and you should pursue it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Awesome.
And so I stuck around with, the company I was with for a while, and then finally got the guts, like that next sort of market season, to give it a whirl. And the first market I did was up at Brighton, where I met you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And selling on Instagram, doing that big cottonwood flea, on Sundays. And that kind of the people I met, like at these various places, either at Brighton Flea Market or off Instagram, were like, do you do birthdays? Do you do parties? Do you do corporate catering? Do you do weddings?
Can you make a larger amount?
Yeah. And so the first year was kind of cool because, I sold a decent amount, and then I kind of got serious about branding, and that same sign artist at my job actually came up with the lip logo for me. So it was cool that she was like, you should sell this. And then I asked her to do the logo. So it's been really cool to just, like, it was a hobby turn, and now it's like a full-blown thing. So yeah, it's exciting.
Okay,
yeah.
Real question here.
Yeah.
Do you like tiramisu?
I do.
Okay.
But here's the thing with tiramisu, and I've tried probably every tiramisu in the Valley, either prior to starting this or recently, just a little research. And my problem with tiramisu is that restaurants a lot of the time make it so far in advance that it's just sitting in their fridge and getting gross and soggy.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where do you guys know Christy, like Fig Eats on Instagram?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I love her. She's the best. She does like a lot of food, highlights on restaurants and things. And I made a joke once about, like, she had posted about a tres leches somewhere, and I was like, oh my God, I hate tres leches. And she was like, lady, you make a living out of like basically selling soggy cake. And I was like, no, it's not soggy. So that's my thing. I don't like soggy tiramisu.
Yeah.
Like, that is the worst. Like, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum, but that is, I think, probably the worst thing on this planet is like tiramisu.
Soggy cake.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of tres leches.
Yeah.
Your tiramisu, I can definitely say that it is not a soggy,
It is not soggy.
cake
Yeah.
or anything in there.
Yeah.
I actually just had like the itch to like make our own tiramisu the other day. I've made it a couple times and everything. I can't find lady fingers anywhere.
Yeah.
And that is are you running into...
I have them all.
I went to 3 different stores trying to find it, and they're like, oh, we don't sell them anymore. Oh, we don't carry them.
Yeah.
Do you have a supplier for your lady fingers?
Or do you make your own?
Yeah.
Oh God, no. I get asked a lot, like, do you make your own? And I'm like, that would take so much more work. Like, I usually get them, I have a source or 3, because it could be an import problem a lot of the times. I know, like, at one point, I was kind of keeping an eye, having worked in grocery before. Like, I saw what port strikes did with supply and demand.
You had a little bit of an
inside. So as soon as I kind of heard whispers of one, I think like last year, I was like, oh shit, like, this is going to be a thing. And so I stockpiled quite a bit just to brace myself. Luckily, I don't think the port strike happened.
Yeah, it did kind of like, it was there, and then it was like, okay, we reached agreement.
Yeah, and so luckily, like, I had a good pallet's worth for a hot minute, just so I wouldn't run out.
Okay, so now you really brought up, how much tiramisu do you make? If you just said you had a pallet of ladyfingers, how much? So wait, how much coffee are you going through? How much ladyfingers are you going through? And then how much tiramisu are you like?
Holy smokes. I'll have to get you guys those numbers. But like I buy,
you can give us a ballpark.
yeah. I probably buy 30 pounds of mascarpone at a time.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So like for one
For 1 week.
batch.
For 1 week.
Yeah. That's like 30 pounds
Oh.
of mascarpone a week.
I cannot picture that. My brain can't fathom that.
Imagine
amount
like
of
a
mascarpone.
giant like tub of spackle, just like huge tub. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes
So
it
in
sound real appetizing.
Yeah. So in the off season, like right now, so like I kind of go dormant like fall through spring just
Mhm.
because, people are either not wanting desserts or so it's like my time to slow down, and then I'll ramp up here in a few weeks, maybe
Yeah.
like end of April.
Yeah,
And
we
then
start getting
I
that
hit it hard.
springtime hits that like
Mhm.
season here for shows, and
Yeah.
we're in the same boat. We're like, okay, we need to start making stuff. We need
Yep.
to start getting ready for some of these shows. We're like, oh man, like we got stuff next week.
Ooh,
We
this
did-
is coming up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, it does sneak up on you. It's like you shift gears and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to like actually put myself on a production schedule, so that I'm not up till midnight the day before, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, which I've done, but yeah. Yeah,
I
lots of
think we
mascarpone.
all have done stuff like that. We're like,
Yeah.
we got a show tomorrow. Shoot, we got to do some printing. We got to do some stuff.
I thrive under pressure, so that's kind of my sweet spot.
Not me.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, because this is not just regular tiramisu. Like
No.
this is
Yeah.
artisanal. You have flavors. You have
I
variety
have
of stuff.
53 flavors.
Oh, I did not realize.
Wow.
Like, okay, so when
I mean,
we
we've
see your
seen, yeah, I would
booth,
say we've
Yeah.
seen your
there's
rotating
like
menu.
there's
Yeah.
a menu that's not all 53 at one
No.
time.
Yeah.
What are you bringing to a show? Usually around like 10 different flavors, and like on
Yeah,
average.
I think the first year I was doing the markets, I did like a dozen flavors.
Okay.
And then people were having a hard time deciding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the second year I did it, I was like, I'll do 5 to 6. And then last year, I think I stuck with 5,
And per show kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, like I have my holy trinity of things that always sell out, and then I would like experiment and kind of. Last year I kept better track of stuff that was better sellers than others. There's like seasonal flavors. Yeah.
How long are you spending, like, doing like testing to figure out what flavors you're going to take to market?
Well, so a lot of it is tracking sales, like last year's sales, and something I think is going to be a banger is like,
Never
what,
works
you
out that way.
guys don't like that? How do you guys not like, or that
Yeah.
that just sat there, like it, but you have to be able to make, your menu has to sound appetizing,
Mhm.
there's some people that are texture sensitive
Yep.
to things, and so yeah, I use kind of like spaghetti on the wall. I know I have my top 3 and then experimental flavors, and yeah.
Yeah, because I think we got a passion fruit one,
Mhm.
and then I don't remember what was the other one we got. It's been like,
My
like
top
3 years ago
3,
now.
So
yeah.
you've actually brought some to, or our good friend Whiskey brought some of yours into
Love
the
whiskey.
shop.
Yeah.
And I had your Snicker one.
Mhm. Yeah.
He brought, I forget what other one he had as well. But yeah, I think we like
We've had a few on
between
there.
the shop,
all
I think we
good.
devoured it in like less than 5 minutes
Yeah.
between everybody, like just
Yep.
getting a couple bites off a fork.
Yeah, my like the size that I bring to these markets, I call it tiramisu for 2, and people have always like circled back, DM'd me on Instagram like, you're a liar.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was watching a show, I didn't even look down, and that thing was gone. My husband was mad, my wife was mad, like I finished it.
We've
Yeah.
done the same. We've had the same problem where it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna try it, and like I have this flavor, you have this, we're gonna share, and then
Yeah.
it's like, Christy, you ate all of it. I didn't even get a bite
Right.
out of
You
it.
didn't
Yeah.
really like that one.
Yeah.
It was the passion fruit one.
You would have hated it.
Yeah,
Don't
you
worry.
wouldn't
It
have
was
liked
like,
it.
yeah, it was
I
not
mean,
good.
to be fair, it's definitely 2 portion sizes, but you
Yeah.
can easily eat the whole little mini tray.
Yeah, like I have a peanut butter one, and the gym people love that one. They're like, this is protein, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
Sure.
Yeah,
it is.
sure it is, yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah. So funny. Yeah.
So, like, we're not lying here, guys. Like, this is 2 years now. You've been award-winning.
City Weekly, yeah, best tiramisu.
Yeah.
And then this year I won an extra award for best decadent dessert. So I have a dulce de leche tiramisu.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's really tasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is top tier. Guys.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Top tier.
it's really good.
And so, I want to go into market a little bit for
Yeah.
you and everything. You got a pretty simple setup. It's not anything too crazy.
Not
You're just
fancy.
a table, pop up, and
Coolers.
tiramisu.
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
coolers,
That's about
right?
it. Yeah.
Was there any thought of like bigger production behind it, or like, hey, I just want to keep it simple and kind of go through the motions with this?
Like keeping it simple is easy because for the most part, I'm a one-woman show.
Yeah.
Like I have no hired help. My fiance Tim has the job he doesn't get paid for. You know, he calls himself the box folder,
Yeah.
like bag stamper. So yeah, it's easy. The setup I have, like I can load my car, get up the canyon, set up, hang out. My favorite part is like maybe just talking to people about it, meeting other vendors. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I have big ideas for it, but it's hard, it's like the right person with deep pockets will come along. And like I have really big, good ideas for what it could be, but for now it's just,
It's working.
It's working. Yeah.
How often are you doing shows?
So I take the fall and winter off, most of the spring. And then, so last year we did the Wednesday night market at Mill Creek Commons. We did the Sandy Farmers Market on Saturdays, and that's a new market. It's a lot of fun if you're in the Sandy area. And then I did the Brighton Flea Market on Sundays. And so that was a lot. That was me basically, because I also have a full-time job. And so that was me prepping at really weird hours in between, everything else in life. Yeah. So this year, I think I'm just going to do the Brighton Market. I kind of missed the boat. I'd love to eventually do the Salt Lake City Farmers Market, but that deadline came and went, and I didn't even realize it. So yeah.
That is the thing, guys. If you are thinking of getting into shows, do not think the week before you can apply for it.
No,
Yeah, definitely
there
not.
are a few shows that are months before they even get started.
Yes.
We ran into that same exact thing the first year we started doing shows. Like, oh, look at this show, we should sign up.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like 3 months ago for sign up on that. We missed that one. Okay, maybe next year. And then like next year comes, they're like, KK, we missed it again.
Oh, yeah.
They moved it on us.
Yeah, the first year I tried to apply, I had a really bad experience with the person that ran the Salt Lake Market, but she's not there anymore. So everyone's been like, you should try again. And then I missed it. So I don't know, maybe next year.
Next year. Maybe the winter one. Maybe you get in with the winter one, and then you can get your foot in the door, and then be like, hey, I'm available for the summer one too, guys.
Yeah, I believe very strongly like in divine timing. So for me, it's like maybe I'm going to get so overrun with weddings. I wouldn't have time, and I'd be kind of kicking myself for getting into that market. So weddings are getting increasingly popular, which is cool.
That's awesome.
But I think I might, like with what I have booked now, it might have been a lot,
So it's not like, I know you said like birthday parties, things like that. So you're actually taking that avenue as well, not just the market scene kind of thing. So just to kind of make sense of this, you're using the market to kind of network to 100%. Other bigger things.
Yeah.
And so do a lot of your stuff like outside of those markets, does it come from markets or like just the Instagram stuff?
A lot of like, I always like to ask people like when they call, like, how did you find me? Like, and they're like, Google. I Googled.
Oh, really?
Tiramisu. And you were the first thing that popped up. So like SEO does work, like you don't have to pay someone to do it, Google, Instagram, but yeah, the markets are a great way to meet people. And, on that A-frame menu I have out in front of the booth, it does say, we do catering, corporate weddings, what have you. I have one client in Cottonwood Heights, like they order once a month for their whole office, which is really cool.
Oh, what office is that? Because I want to go be part of that again.
Yeah.
What day is that happening?
So it's pretty cool, and then all of those people in the office, like I've from this one office, like I've had 3 or 4 weddings. Either it's people that work there or friends of theirs who are looking for something more untraditional than cake. It's been pretty cool.
How much time are you spending in the kitchen making tiramisu weekly now?
Right now, none.
Because off season, yeah.
But I'd say, Not a ton. It goes, I'm kind of like a machine. I have a whole process with, getting stuff ready. The way I build around my flavors, there's like, I don't even know how to put it, but like I have there's a method to the madness. So I can be super efficient if I need to be. I'd say maybe like 4 to 6 hours a week when I'm in market season. So it's not horrible. It's just, being smart with my time.
Yeah, that's not too bad actually.
Do your kids ever jump in and help or?
No, my daughter. So I will say that I hit the kid lottery. Like I have 2 teenagers that are super patient and, hey guys, I'll be gone all day. Do you want to come with me? And they usually pass, but they are very good at like stamping bags or helping me load the car, unloading the car. Like that's huge. After you've been outside for 6 hours, the last thing you want to do is lug everything, back it. Yeah.
Down the stairs,
Yep.
up the stairs, back in the store. All
Yes.
It's
so that's like a group effort when I get home, which is
nice.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Tiramisu. Like you're talking about making it while you're at Trader Joe's, but has baking, cooking, everything else been part of your life, or is it kind of something you kind of just jumped into more recently in the sense?
I think because like I'm in my 40s, I feel like in the age of like Food Network, being a thing when I was a kid and being exposed to all of these different cuisines and whatnot, and like seeing because it was very much television, like watching people make this stuff. It felt very like I've always felt like there wasn't anything with food that was not doable, so tiramisu was a thing I would make casually, every so often, and I honestly can't tell you why that became the thing.
I was gonna ask why tiramisu.
I really,
aside from the dream.
Yeah.
Aside, that's I really couldn't tell you why it was that and not cupcakes or cookies or whatever. For some reason, it was like it just came to me that like that was what I was supposed to be doing. So yeah.
Well, I can say we've never seen another tiramisu.
I don't think so.
Person in a market.
Yeah. I hope it stays that way. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it's not something that I have seen people do that many flavors of.
Well, I think
in Salt Lake at least.
One of the things that like is really nice about it is that when I think tiramisu, I'm only thinking of a few like restaurants that maybe might have it on the menu.
Yeah.
It is a very lovely dessert.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I don't find it in a lot of places. So it is one of those unique like things to be like walking through a market and be like, oh, there's tiramisu over there.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the other thing too.
Because you could get all the other. You can get cupcakes, you can get cookies, you can get all that other stuff. But tiramisu,
yes,
you're the only one right now that I'm
Yeah.
aware of at shows that I.
Well, and the cool thing is that like even if people pass by and they hate it for whatever reason,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, but my fill in the blank loves, this is their favorite,
Yeah.
thing. And so it's like, here's our Instagram, here's our website, you can order it. I have people that maybe have met me somewhere, or I have a woman who orders a birthday cake sized for her son every year, and she has for 3 years in a row.
Oh wow!
And she doesn't even live in the state, but he goes to school here, and so she will
Nice.
she will order one for his birthday, and
And have
we'll deliver it.
Yeah.
And,
That's so sweet.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
So let me ask this now, because you've had so many experiences with people. Is there a experience that stands out to you from like a customer that like buys it, like something like for a birthday or something, or anything like that?
Ooh,
Any stories?
a standout experience. Gosh, I'm sure I have. Yeah. No, my favorite is just like I love converting people when they're, we get people at these markets, they walk past, you're like, oh my God, I hate tiramisu. And I'll call them out. I'd be like, what do you hate about it? And like, I didn't like, they thought I couldn't hear them.
Like,
and they'll be like, what?
oh.
And I'm like, no, I'm curious. Like, what do you hate about it? And they're like, and then it's usually, oh my gosh, so soggy, or the coffee flavors too. There's people that hate coffee. Like I'm a fiend. I will drink coffee at like 10 p.m., you know? But yeah, there's people that hate coffee. So,
but she loves tiramisu.
Yeah.
I grew up on it though. Like I am Italian. My grandma made it. And
Yeah.
so like I did grow up on it. I will eat tiramisu with coffee. But when I saw you had other flavors, I was like, oh wait, I gotta stop and look at this board and see what else there is.
So it's like, I feel like getting to capture those people who are like, I hate the texture. I'm like, stop there. Not soggy. Well, I hate coffee. Stop there. I've got, 3 other flavors that don't even have coffee in it, I love my tea drinkers. Like I do a London fog flavor that like usually knocks people off their feet. It's so good. So yeah, I love calling people out. They're like, I hate it. It's the worst. Like, yeah. Yeah.
So 53 different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about making a new flavor?
So it's funny because initially I was just making traditional and then I got bored. Like the ADHD was going, we're going to stop doing this now because we're bored. And I was like, no, we're sticking with it. And so I just would be in my car thinking about other desserts. Creme brulee. Like I have a creme brulee flavor that we torch the top and you can crack it, and just starting thinking about other desserts and how those can translate. And it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's like your base, what you're flavoring, what you're dipping the ladyfinger in, what's in your mascarpone, what goes on the top, all of those things are very interchangeable. I love anything coconut. So I think I have like 4 or 5 different coconut ones.
Flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are a slow seller. I don't know why, but
I hate coconut.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
I like coconut flavor. I don't like the coconut like texture.
Yeah. So I have to be careful with that one because like I do a coconut cream and I'm always like more. And I'm like, no, you never know, so yeah. But it's really just like what sounds good, what kind of like other cakes, candy bars are out there.
Do you have
desserts.
a Butterfinger one?
Oh shit. We'll call it the Christie. Yeah. I don't have a Butterfinger.
I mean, I love anything peanut butter chocolate.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do have a peanut butter chocolate, but I don't have a Butterfinger.
Because you need that crunchy element.
Oh my
right?
gosh. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay. Newest flavor, spring 2025.
Steadfast Rebels collab.
Yes. Yeah. We'll call it. Yes. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So, but it's like stuff like that,
Do you have a favorite that's of your flavors?
Ooh, I love the banana cream. That's like one of my top 3 sellers. I love the coconut cream. I love the lemon and coconut. I love all of them. I rarely eat them anymore.
Yeah.
Like I have to taste elements of it to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
But I rarely eat it. It's what and every so often, like I'll do a big event or something and there'll be some left over. Like we did a wedding and we were passing it out and there was like some left over and I was like, well, do anybody want these? No. So I tried one at the end of the night. I was like, oh, I do know what I'm doing. It's confirmation. Like, okay. Because you do get sort of like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, oh
we
my
talk
gosh.
about it all the time on here and just how that success is like,
Yeah.
why is this being successful? I don't understand why me kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's like I've tried other tiramisu in the Valley, so I get I'm not shy about why I think mine is the best, but when people like buy, like I have a guy during this spring and summer, they buy like 6 at a time and they stockpile it and they come see me every other weekend and like that's their treat, and you're like, damn, they really like it, and so it's kind of, yeah, it's like oh gosh, like they're gonna find out it's not that great, yeah, it's kind of,
they're gonna have buyer's remorse.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they've been back for years now, and they're gonna eventually figure out like,
yeah,
oh man,
yeah,
why
exactly.
are we buying the same
right?
thing?
And they keep coming back.
Haven't noticed yet.
Yes, yeah, it's so weird, that I don't know what that is. That's
Yeah, I mean, it's imposter syndrome. It is one of those things where we, as artists, as creators, because what I'm loving the conversation about all the different styles and things and techniques that you're throwing in to go like, hey, I'm gonna try this out. I'm like, hey, Butterfingers. You never even thought about it. Is you're like, okay, I saw the wheel start spinning in your head and like, okay,
I know exactly how I do it.
Yeah. But it is one of those fun things about other creators that are like, I say it to everybody who's on the show, because of you, what you are doing, what you're creating makes you this talented person that other people aren't doing this kind of thing. And 53 flavors is not an easy thing to come through.
And I'll say this, until last season, I didn't have a single recipe written down.
Oh no.
I was literally just about to ask, like, do you have a notebook? Do you write down your process?
So my fiance Tim gets 100% of credit because I need with 3 markets a week. He needed to help me, and he was like, okay, so like, where are your recipes? And I'm like, ding ding, like, and he's like, no, and I was like, yeah. And so he would like corner me and be like,
okay, what's
you're writing these all down right now, to be like, no, like, then they're out in the wild, like then we've got to lock the book up,
here's the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cookbook.
I was gonna say,
it's
we
a
need
cookbook.
Twisted Tiramisu recipe book.
What?
Yeah,
yes.
because here's the thing, and this
God.
is the thing that a lot of us
I'm stealing that idea.
a lot of us as artists do, and everything
Yeah.
is where we go, oh man, if we don't share this information, like no one can make it, kind of. But here's the reality. Everyone out there who wants to make stuff usually is so discouraged about making it that they just go to support the people, kind of thing. And so for the people and makers that want to make stuff, go out here. How can I give you as much information to go have the success of making it yourself? But that's another outlier is like, hey, like put that book out there with your recipes. You don't even have to do all 53.
No, dude, I
absolutely not.
Volumes.
Volume 1, the basics. Volume 2,
totally.
The candies. But like that's the fun part is we've now you've got a new flavor.
Yes.
You've got a book coming out. Where's the book?
I know. Where's the publishers at?
Self-published.
Right. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
But that's one of the fun things as you start going down this rabbit hole of like all the possibilities, because we're now, so you said 2020 is when you kind of got the idea of it.
Yeah.
Your first market was what, 2022, 2021?
2021.
Okay. So that year of
maybe 22. Yeah. That would be the first one.
Would be the first one. So we're now talking, we're on the 3rd year of doing this kind of thing. And so that is the fun part about how this can keep going and keep kind of snowballing for you and be bigger and bigger, because
I just got chills.
It is super fun to see that kind of growth, because like my first question I was going, and as before we got on this little tangent, is where does the idea to dip in different liquids? Because I'm thinking tiramisu. It's probably, some people are going, if it's not in coffee, it's not tiramisu.
I've had someone very Italian, like from New Jersey, tell me that their Nona would roll over in their grave, and I'm like, I feel that, but also, sorry, Nona. Yeah.
Try it. It's
good.
Try
it. It's good. Yeah, she wouldn't be mad. Yeah.
So you have coffee. You have, because the London Fog, you have tea. Yeah. So are you doing a variety of teas for different flavors?
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's a crapshoot, because London Fog, obviously it's Earl Grey, and then you just kind of push it, because teas can be so subtle.
Yeah.
It's finding ways to push that flavor without it being medicinal or bitter or overly sweet, and so it's a little bit of experimenting, and I don't think I've really had a batch where I'm like, oh my God, that was bad.
I was just going to ask, have you had one that was like,
any duds?
Oh, I'm not going to put that one out?
So the boldest, I haven't had one. I've had one where I'm like, okay, that can't stick around. It's like, it's not worth making a bunch.
What was the flavor?
Green tea is
like, I was just going to ask, have you done like a matcha?
Yeah, the matcha is like really slow.
Yeah.
And then when I don't have it, people want it. It's like, it's crazy.
Because I was going to say those like matcha, ube, like those kind of flavors.
Yeah. It's the ube is kind of hard to get right. I have that on the back burner, but I haven't nailed that one. So I don't want to like put it in the wild,
Yeah.
But my boldest kind of crazy flavor is a guava goat cheese.
Ooh.
And so we did the Eat Drink SLC event at Tracy Aviary. We got asked to do that one, which was really cool. And I was like, okay, these are foodie people, like they'll be adventurous there. So we did that one and the traditional, and I think a 3rd flavor. And that one, like those samples were gone within like the first hour of the event. And that's like right up there with my I think for every traditional, like it's right up there with the sales.
So are you substituting the mascarpone for goat cheese?
Maybe.
Yeah. You gotta wait till the cookbook comes out.
Yeah.
I'm just
Stay tuned.
I am struggling to go. I'm like, wait, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, that is genius.
Yeah. It's really good for people that like, I would eat goat cheese with every meal.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it so much. But I grew up There's a Cuban pastry that's like guava and a goat cheese, little thing. And that's one of my favorite desserts. Or flavor profiles,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's right up there for me. And so I was like, why not? So I tried it and I was like on the fence because it's a little out there,
Yeah.
for a dessert, but it works. It's so good. Yeah.
All right, next time you have that, we got to get it and
Deal.
try it.
Yes, yeah. You might get a delivery at some point. Yeah. It's so good.
I want to talk about market experience for
Yeah.
you. The first market, how did that go for you?
So, first market I ever did was the Maven Street Festival,
Okay.
when the Maven district kind of like got up and running initially. And I was so grateful that they like let me in and, had me there. I was so nervous that I didn't even sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I was like, God, I had reached out to some other vendors I had befriended on Instagram, and I was like, is this normal? Like, to be this nervous? And they're like, well, I mean, it's your first one. So yeah. And you worried about your setup. You worried about, you don't want to piss off the market directors. You don't want to, like,
is your stuff going to
Yeah.
Do you have enough stuff?
God forbid
Too
you
much
load in the
stuff?
wrong way.
Yeah.
And then, they're mad at you forever and you're never coming back, so, but then I got through it, and it's really, I love talking to people. So once people started walking by and asking questions and like, oh, how cool. Like, I've never had tiramisu and other flavors, and talking about you relax, and then you're like, okay, I got this. It's fine. My product is good. I know what I'm doing. You kind of like repeating to yourself over and over. So yeah, I've been fortunate to have very solid market experiences. Cynthia and Marty at Big Cottonwood.
Great.
Oh my God, they're just the best. Run such a good, easy market.
It's such
Energy's
a vibe
great.
up there.
It is. I know.
I forget the guy playing guitar. I'm sorry, but his acoustics all
just
day
listening to his music
are just so nice,
Yep.
and
So-
the mountains and the chill in the air.
It's just and everyone is just so. The energy is just so good. You can't go wrong. Yeah.
100%.
I love it up there. Yeah.
So, have you gotten into any markets that have been like kind of that same kind of nervousness getting back into like a new market for you, or has it been like, okay, I kind of got a hold on this? And
it's weird. I think after the first few, and the nice thing about doing a market repeatedly is that you get into a routine, you get into a groove, you know how it's going to go, setup gets easier. If you forget anything, whereas before there'd be panic, it'd be like, oh, I know someone that has a Sharpie. I know somebody that has, so it's that you build that community within a recurring market that's really comforting. But yeah, I feel like we've got it pretty down now. The thing for me is like, remembering to get the menus printed. So I'm not sitting in the car going shit and like running back inside and like printing a menu out real quick, Yeah.
We've done the like, oh no, we need to get this done kind of thing before. Okay, take the kid. I'm gonna go downstairs and do
I gotta do this real quick.
I know the names of my local FedEx people really well because I'm like the night before, going, hey, I need a menu printed, architectural print. Can you push that through? And they're like, yeah, give us 15 minutes. So being nice goes a long way.
Oh,
yes,
being nice goes definitely. That's the only way to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I want to give people the opportunity to like hear of some of like, I guess the question I have is for the people who are maybe not getting a tiramisu, maybe a different food or something like that. Like if you have some advice, if you have some tips to like get you started, because it seems like from the start you've had a good support system to kind of get you moving in there. I think you did a very smart thing by like reaching out to the different reviewers and saying, hey, tell me if this is going to work. Like if it does, and that's great that you have that like network that you could reach out to. But is there other advice that you have for maybe someone trying to like just push themselves over that edge to get started with what they're doing?
I think the biggest thing is if you don't do it, someone else will.
Yeah.
And that's literally like when I had woken up and was like, tiramisu, the fear of like someone beating me to the idea. I'm like fiercely competitive. And so the idea of someone beating me to the idea, like put the fear of God right in me. And so I think that's just it. It's like, if you have a great idea, just do it, because if you don't, someone else will do it, and then you'll be one of those people, buying something from someone. And I think there's nothing worse than, I wish I would have, or I could have done that, or it's like those regrets. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, move past the fear and get her done.
Yeah, it is nervous or nervous. It is kind of like nerve-wracking to like get yourself into a position that you go, I've never done this before. I'm not quite sure how to approach this, but everyone at the market's had a first time. Yeah. And everyone is like, if it's their first time or it's their 100th time, they started somewhere.
Yeah.
And it does allow them to like, hey, just start. Just try to get there.
Just do it.
And I mean, you've had some pretty awesome success, and we love hearing all the different things that you've been able to accomplish with it. Where is this going next? Besides the cookbook and besides the Butterfinger
and the new flavors.
The new flavors.
Yeah.
Do you have some flavors that you're like looking down the like maybe releasing this year?
Yeah, I have like a note in my phone that is always running, and I'll just write them down, like flavor combinations, and I'm like, oh no, like that's like I don't even want to try that, yeah, but I think keeping it fresh, like retiring some, that didn't sell well, or I'm just like sick of making, yeah, I think there's exciting things, like maybe offering different sizes, for people to buy at the markets, because for the most part it is that little tiramisu for two. But I have had people go, oh, we're going to a party tonight, and usually I need like 24 hours notice. But I think like having some of those on hand, so that people, if they're going to like a dinner or something, they can just like pick it up and take it with them, rather than like missing that opportunity.
Yeah.
So
okay, so that's a couple new ways we could potentially see some more tiramisu options in the future with that.
Yeah, we'll keep up with our deliveries and local pickups and stuff like that. So we're trying to get smarter about how to make it more accessible to people. And I don't know if that means reaching out to local businesses that would want to carry it and stuff like that, and see how that goes. Yeah.
Is there, so I always like to ask this because everybody has like a specialty tool that they have in their like stuff, and I always sometimes forget to ask everybody who's on the show, but I kind of was like, is a KitchenAid something that you like couldn't do your tiramisu without, or is there like a tool that you go, I have this tool and I use it all the time?
I have about 10 small offset spatulas.
Okay.
That, like, God help me if I don't have all 10 before I'm like ready to get going. Yeah. That, and pastry bags for various things, and there's just like really simple tools that are needed. But KitchenAid saved my butt. Yeah.
But the offset spatula is that one, like, it's gonna be the game changer if they're
really
not ready to go.
Not. Yeah, anything. It would ruin my day.
Yeah. I love going to the kitchen supply like store and just seeing all the different like tools and gadgets and things, and I go, oh man, like if I had just space for everything, I don't know when I would use everything, but like I want everything in there because there's some cool stuff. But an offset spatula, I have some in the room next door does, just because I use it to mix our ink and everything. They're definitely a nice like little tool to have.
Definitely
around. They're not just a kitchen thing.
They're not, definitely not. Multi-purpose.
I want to make sure everyone's got an opportunity to know where to find out where they can see your stuff, check out, or order from you. What is website, social handle, anything
so
like that?
Instagram is twisted_tiramisu. Our website, I kind of froze it for the fall and winter because it's going under a redesign and whatnot right now, but that would be twistedtiramisu.slc.com. Google, we have an Gmail address. It's twistedtiramisu@gmail.com. Phone number, there's
all that's there.
Website should be up like closer to the end of April, early May. Yeah.
So shortly after this episode goes out, you guys can go check out the website as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything we might have missed in this conversation here about tiramisu and everything cool and creative and marketing and all the stuff with that?
I don't think so. Yeah, cookbook.
Okay, cookbook.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
guys, look out for the Twisted Tiramisu cookbook coming very soon,
Yeah.
guys. But Paula, thank you so much
Yeah, thank
for
you,
joining
guys.
us down here, having a conversation. And guys, do what you are supposed to do. Like, comment, subscribe. If you know any other local artisans, any artists, creators, makers, anybody in the Salt Lake or Greater Salt Lake area, let them know about us.
Yep,
We'd love
send
to
them
have
our
a
way.
conversation. Yeah. So guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining us. Bye.